Hi everyone, my name is Brooke Bly, and today I want to talk a little bit about engagement in the classroom through the use of multiple literacies. So first I want to start with what multiple literacies means. Now this can be a little tricky. It may be a word that you've heard before, or maybe you've never heard of it. It's a little tricky because if you just try to search for a definition, likely you're going to come up with a lot of different answers. So I wanted to just put it simply. And so, in simple terms, multiple literacies are the different ways that we read and write in our everyday lives. So take a minute to think about what that really means. All of the different ways that we read and write in our everyday lives. So what I want you to do is actually to stop for a minute. I want you to go ahead and pause this video. And I want you to either make a list, or if you're with other people, maybe stop to discuss. And I want you to think of how many different ways you see yourself or people that you know, or how many ways you can think of reading and writing in our everyday lives. So stop, make a list, talk to other people, but what are the ways that you think you read and write in your everyday lives? So hopefully you took a minute and you either jotted down some ideas or you talked with someone else about all of the ways that you read and write in a day. Now, maybe you came up with a lot of ideas, or maybe you really just thought of the most common examples, like reading a book, writing an essay, writing an email, right? But when we think about multiple literacies, we are going so far beyond these simple common examples. Multiple literacies includes things like food menus, magazines, music videos, video games, online chat rooms, and so much more. So think about all the ways that you get information in a day, and think about all of the ways that you communicate with others in a day. These are all examples of multiple literacies that you use likely every single day. Many of these you probably use without even realizing that they're a form of literacy. These forms of literacies are quickly growing and are extremely important to today's learners. Teachers should familiarize themselves with these current forms of multiple literacies and find ways to use them within their classrooms. Okay, now the idea of adding multiple literacies to your classroom may sound like a difficult task that you're not really sure would be truly worth it. So what is it about multiple literacies that would make it worth implementing into your lessons? Well, a current problem that a lot of educators face is hooking students into lessons and then keeping them engaged once the lessons start. The use of multiple literacies would be an excellent way for students to get excited and stay engaged in their learning. Students use multiple literacies every single day outside of school, and just like you, they likely didn't even realize that they're a form of literacy. If students are naturally engaged in these forms of literacy, why couldn't they be used to aid in the learning of their school content? If teachers could take information about multiple literacies and apply this to their lessons, it would allow students to make connections between school and their outside lives and interests. Not only this, but learning becomes relevant and meaningful to students when it relates to their personal lives. Okay, so now we've gone over our why for multiple literacies, right? Why should we be doing this? We know that it could be extremely important to engagement for students. But what I want to do now is talk about what multiple literacies could or really should look like. So, a few examples just to get you thinking about what multiple literacies could look like. So this could mean that students are making videos. It could be students writing songs, creating games, participating in a blog post, right? All about the content that you are wanting them to learn. But again, it's going to be in this highly engaging way of using this information in a way that they are used to and that they use in their everyday lives. So that's the piece that's really going to hook them and engage them in the lesson. Now, we talked about how it's engaging because it's relevant to students' lives, right? And it's helping them make these connections to their personal lives. But this is only true if you're using multiple literacies that are authentic to students' interests. So while you may love the idea of making a music video about the bones in the human body, if your students are not interested in music or music videos, then that's probably not the best project to use with them. For multiple literacies to really engage your students, you need to work with your students to find out what multiple literacies they're using in their everyday lives, right? So then this information is then what you're going to take and use to build your lessons, because we want to figure out what students are already using and take that and apply it to our lessons. That's what's going to make it authentic and engaging for these kids. So another great idea is to allow for students to have some choice in this, right? So while most of your class may not like the idea of making a music video, that could be of very, very high interest to another student, right? So if you allow students to decide on their own project creation, that would mean that every student is able to engage in what's authentic to them, what's engaging to them, and what applies directly to their own interests. So now that you know about multiple literacies, what that truly means, why it's important, and how it can engage students, I want to end with giving you a little bit of time to collect your thoughts, right? So this could be writing them down or chatting with others if you're with others right now. But I want you to think about, do you know what multiple literacies your students are currently using, or is this something that you need to go out and discover? Do you have any ideas so far that you could see yourself using? And what else do you need to know before moving forward? What else do you need to go and do before you can truly start? Multiple literacies have the possibility to transform learning if the right groundwork is laid. So take some time to gather your thoughts, work alongside your students, and then give it a try. Good luck and have fun.